Hello, everybody. So in this session, we will look after SU53 transaction code. So see, in SAP security, this transaction code you will hear a lot. Whenever there is an authorization issue, the very first thing that comes into the security consultant mind is, can you please provide SU53 screenshot? Okay, if anybody is raising an incident, if anybody is raising an authorization issue, that would be at the basic step to request a user, do you have an AC53 screenshot, right after, an error has, right after an authorization issue that you get to see. So today we will cover SU53, so the importance and then the various ways of, analyzing this issue. So the very first thing that we need to understand is, so by executing SU53, so you will be able to see the last authorization error. Okay, so it is not something that a user has received an authorization error, maybe just now, and then after an hour or maybe the next day, if we just go ahead and then simply execute SU53, that is not the most relevant SU53 screenshot that we have to refer into. So we have to always ask the user. So right after they get any authorization issue, let's say if they're creating an invoice, maybe by using some transaction code ME21N. So he is trying to create, a purchase order. So he received an authorization error saying that you're not authorized to. So right after he received that error, he has to use /o SU53. So /o is to execute the transaction code in a next session, in a new session. So by doing that, so whatever that has caused the error would get captured in your SU53. So then if you're referring to that particular SU53 screenshot, that makes sense for the security consultant in analyzing what is missing in the user profile, to be very precise. So we need to also consider this as a matter of fact that, so whatever you see in SU53, so for example, in this case, I'm getting this, SU53 screenshot, but this is not the relevant one because this is not the appropriate one, because so this is not something that I would need authorizations regarding some flavor use. So I'm not even sure what that means. So if I just expand this, so here it is telling me what I already has. So let me see what I already has. Here I have star, here I have star, here I have star. Even then I got this as an error. Here, so this is a very good example in terms of understanding the SU53 screen. So these are called as false positives. Okay, yeah, even then they come up, they show up here. We are not supposed to consider that. So right after an error, for example, let me see if I can able to log in by using test ID. Not sure. Let me say I'll use this ID. So if the ID does not exist, let's create an ID. Okay. So do /OSU01 and let me just create an ID test_12. Let me create that ID. So this is also a very important interview question. What are the minimum required fields for creating a user in SU01? So you have these many other fields, right? But what are the basic and minimum required fields that you have to fill in? Okay. So the answer to that question would be last name, password, and that's it. So role, you have to ideally assign it. So even then, if you don't have to, if you don't assign the role, these are the last name and password will do. So these are the basic required fields to create a user. Okay, so let me go ahead and let me create the ID. Let me give the password, and then I'm giving the user type as dialog. So at this moment, I'm not going to, give any role. So I'm going to just click on save. Okay, now what I will do is I will try to log in with user test_1. Test_12. Cannot log on to CUA system assignment missing. Okay. Okay, that is because probably I have converted this system into a CUA system. So let me go inside and yeah. So here you see the systems tab, right? So since no system has been assigned, so it is giving me the error. So now let me give this system, which is 800 client. I have deleted this configuration, but it's still appearing, which is okay. So let me assign some basic role. So I wanted to show you what exactly that we get to see in SU53. So let's say I can take this one. Okay. So yeah. So now let me log in into the system by using test_1 2. So okay. Now let me say I want to execute SU53. Let's take this as an example. You get this error, right? You're not authorized to use transaction SU53. So the other way around is I can able to see the SU53 screen of a particular user with my user ID. So I have logged in with my user ID, and now I wanted to see the last, because you don't even have access to sender's SU53 screen. So how do we do it? So we can just go ahead and then execute it. So the last authorization check was successful. So um, so I'm not sure why this is not showing it. Ideally, it has to bring us the last stored check. So nothing has been stored is what it is saying. So now let me say I want to execute for this ID test_1 2. Here it is. Okay, so this we use for stored checks. Let's say if anything is being stored in the buffer, okay, then we can able to see it from here, or else you'll have to use this display for different user. So then I've executed test_1 2, and then here it is. So the user does not have access to SU53 screenshot, and it is also showing me this. So we should not be bothering about this, but we should be focusing on this. So this is just an example. So similarly, if they're doing something with relevant to a particular transaction code, ME21N, ME51N, or maybe some other transaction code, VD01 or whatever. So in that particular transaction code, if they're doing something, you will ideally see a business authorization object. I mean, function-based module authorization object in here. So then only we'll have to put more focus on that particular authorization object, and then we'll have to add that into the PFCG role, and then we'll have to test it, and then that's how you're going to fix the authorization issues. So this is what the basic understanding of SU53. How do we analyze the SU53 screen? Okay. So if you have any questions, you can leave in the comment section. I'll try to address as much as I can. And thank you for watching the video. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much.